G'day guys, I'm AJ and today I'm going to talk about Weapons. This is not a movie that I would normally talk about. If you don't know, Weapons is a horror movie. It kind of goes into other genres as well, but most people would call it a horror movie. It's definitely marketed as a horror movie. And it came out like for streaming pretty recently. But I'm not really into horror stuff normally. So this was, a bit of a different experience for me. I've only really watched like a couple of real horror movies. I've watched things like Coraline, The Night Before Christmas, The Corpse Bride, those sort of films. And those are the ones that I normally like to watch for Halloween and, get into that stuff. I have also, dabbled in, true crime documentary things. I had a phase for that, but I don't really listen to that anymore. Which is healthier for me, for my mental health, I mean. And then, the main, real horror movie that I watched was Orphan, that's what it's called. And then I watched the prequel as well because I loved it so much. Well, I don't know if you'd call it love with a horror movie. It, and yeah, the prequel was not nearly as good, but if you want to hear me talk about that, I can. Tell me in the comments. I knew that my friend who I was watching this with, was into horror movies and liked this stuff, and I was kind of ready to, get into more horror movies. The only thing was that I had forgotten to take my medicine at the right time 3 days in a row. And it was like, I forgot. It wasn't like I wasn't mentally up for this on a normal day. It wasn't like my friend forced me into it, like a peer pressure thing. I was ready for this, and then it just turned out that on Saturday I woke up really late and therefore had a bad routine and forgot to take my medicine that morning and therefore took it at night time. And then I did the same thing on Sunday. And then on Monday as well. I didn't sleep in as much on Monday, but I was with my support worker, and normally, with her I'll do cleaning, and or go for a walk. I won't normally have to do the morning routine stuff, so I forgot to take my medicine. And so, I didn't know that I'd forgotten, because, it was a forgetting. It wasn't I'd only know that I did it 2 days in a row beforehand. I didn't realise that I forgot to do it until I got home and looked at my morning routine thing, and I'm like, oh, that's helpful. Yeah, so because it was therefore harder to deal with this movie, I wanted to talk to you about this movie. There will be spoilers, but I'll give you a quick spoiler-free review. So you want to know if you want to watch it and then come back, or if you just want to watch some of my other videos. It won't make sense if you watch this video and you haven't seen, or the rest of this video, and you haven't seen Weapons. So I'll tell you my little spoiler-free review so you can decide whether or not you want to go and watch it and come back and watch the rest of the review. Slash theory. There will be a theory at the end of this video, so stay tuned for that. But if you don't, then go and watch another one of my videos. Don't leave. So it's strange. It's a mystery at the same time being a horror movie, and the director, had implanted some comedy implants. I didn't find anything funny. I found one part slightly funny, and the bit of it just kind of the other thing just kind of unnerving. And there was when it went into two comedy characters, it was what is happening? I want to go back to the mystery. What? Why is he doing that? It was just like me furrowing my eyebrows, confused, and like, just like, the unnerving bit was good, because like, you want to be unnerved in a horror movie, and you want to have your expectations changed, but some of it was just like, what? Like, not a good what. I was just like, yeah, so it was, and there was a lot of gore. Like, a lot of gore. Like, I like a mystery movie, and I like a spooky movie, but I'm not into gore. I normally, like, look away with that stuff, or, like, and, like, I could probably deal with it if I had taken my medicine at the right time and stuff, and if I'd had a good sleep the night before. I had horrible sleeps recently, at that time. I've now had good sleeps, and I have now, you know, watched a lot of reviews of this movie, a lot of stuff about it, and I've, you know, put it all together in my brain, and it's like, I understand now that this is a good movie, and, you know, it's a good movie. It's a good horror movie. But if you are not into horror movies, if you can't watch gore, don't watch this. If you like mysteries, yeah, this is good. And if you do like horror movies, this is great. And I don't even know what to say about the comedy part. Like, some people who were saying a lot of reviews that I watched said that they, you know, thought it was funny, and it's just like, what is happening? But, like, I was like, what? You know, I wasn't feeling that. There was one bit where I was like, I realised that you should laugh, but the rest of it was just like, what is going on? Like, not in a funny way, like, in a confused way. But that might just be my autistic thing of not understanding the cues. You know, if you're in a different side of the spectrum, you might completely understand this and be obsessed with this movie and stuff. So that is my non-spoiler review, so that you can judge whether or not you're going to watch it. Watch, and if you want to know more than that, watch the teaser trailer. Don't watch anything else. Like, yeah, because the other ones will have a little too much spoilers. Okay? And like, with the gore and stuff, I thought, okay, it'll all be alright when we get to the happy ending, and it'll all be okay. This did not have a happy ending. Like, some people were saying it was a bittersweet, but I didn't see the sweetness in this. Like, I get that it's a mystery, where you're meant to, make your own conclusions, and I like that sort of thing. But, like, when it comes to gore, I need, like, a happy ending to make me feel okay. Like, for example, with Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, the sort of happy ending was part of it. If you haven't watched Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, go and do that. But, like, at the end, the three friends are all, they all come back and they're all their favourite colour. And at the same time, it's like, what? But at the other time, it's like, if you want it to be a happy ending in your head, it is, you know? And if you want it to be a mystery ending, it can be as well. And you can have your own conclusions to it. But this movie, it's very hard to make up your own happy ending to this movie. Like, the ending is just an ending, and it's, like, pretty clear. Like, I've made up a tiny sort of happy ending to, like, 2 of the characters, but, like, the rest of it is, like, it doesn't feel like it's all okay. It's, and I guess that's, like, part of it. It's, like, realistic, what would actually happen in this situation. It's not like in Bluey, when the director was saying how he ended one of the most recent episodes, the really long one, what was it called, The Sign, when he was talking about how he had such a happy ending, even though a lot of the story was about how not everything has happy endings. sometimes they can just have a, you'll see ending. It was like, in Bluey, it still had a happy ending because it's a movie, or, it's a TV show, and you want to escape life with that sort of thing. This was the opposite of that. It was too realistic. It didn't feel like you're escaping from your real world. You're just, like, exploring reality. And, almost. A lot of, at the end, definitely not all of this could happen in real life, that's for sure. But, yeah, the ending was definitely not for me, is what I'll say. But I do like the things where you can make up your own story, like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, where you can make up your own interpretation. I do like that sort of thing. And making up your own theories and looking at everyone else's interpretation, I love that. But just like when it comes to gore, this much gore. Like, Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, use like puppet gore. And didn't like focus on what you were seeing, like it was kind of unclear. This gore was gore and you knew exactly what was going on. And like, this is exactly as horrible as it looks. Yeah, so that is the end of the spoiler-free section, and now I will talk to you about spoilers, and this was an interesting movie. One of the things was, the characters were so normal that, like, I didn't like any of them. Like, I guess I liked Justine and Alex. But, like, the policeman, for example, was just the most unlikable man there was to exist. And, like, when it got to his point of view, it was just like, is this really what policemen are like in America? Because I'm glad I live here in Australia. I'm very glad that I live here, so, yeah. And there were, like, a couple plot holes about that as well. Like, the policeman must have looked into, like, the stuff that Archer did at least a little bit, you know? And they must have, like, at least demanded to talk to his mum, Alex's mum, and, yeah, like, I don't know, like, normally with investigations, I don't think that they give you a warning, and, like, Gladys said to Alex, people are going to come tomorrow and we need to look normal or something, we need to get everything ready, and I don't think that in real life, like, from the little bit of true crime stuff that I've watched, I don't think that you get warning, and just, like, those simple things from the police would have been so much better, and, like, there was one point where, like, Gladys sent the children off, before this inspection. It's like, where did she send them? And it was also very convenient that Alex's family didn't have, cameras or anything. I guess, like, they would have, like, removed those cameras if they did. Yeah, I guess so. But, like, none of the neighbours, I guess, had cameras around there. There was nothing. And I feel like one of the neighbours would have seen something about this house that, that would have realised that, there was something going on. And with Justine, she was just too nosy for me. Like, I was glad that I was with a friend that I was okay to talk a little bit in this movie, because we were both just like, what are you doing? No, don't do that! Don't walk up to the side of the house! Like, and when the mum came and cut off some of Justine's hair, like, the fact that she didn't wake up, I mean, I guess I've never been drunk before, so I guess maybe that's realistic that she didn't wake up. I don't know. But I would have woken up. And, like, lock your car, girl. And then also, like, how did she not notice, like, afterwards, looking in the mirror, like, that mum has some hairdresser skills to know exactly where to cut an entire lock off and have someone to not notice. Like, if someone cut this lock off, for example, I would notice. I would see, like, a sharp end here or something. And, I guess that she had short curly hair. But you would notice that, like, one of the curls was shorter or something. But there was absolutely nothing at all. So, like, that's interesting. And the kids with, like, the bullies, and the kid Alex, I thought it was interesting that Alex was like the weirdo, not the weirdo, the shy kid that maybe doesn't have any friends. Like, we didn't see him with any friends at all, even, like, before, this all happened. And, like, I think that if he did have friends, then he would have, like, particularly wanted to feed them soup, like, in a particular manner. And, like, that were in that if they were to be in that class, and if they weren't in that class, then they would have noticed that he was, like, then they would have been talking to him or something. So, like, it would be interesting if this was, like, if, like, part of him was, like, getting the revenge on his friends. Or, like, at first I thought that it was going to be that, like, Gladys was, like, his mum or something, and, like, or, like, his dad or something, was connected to this, and that his dad saw that he was being bullied at school, and that no one was nice to him, and he didn't have any friends, and therefore his dad got revenge, and he's just like, Dad, it's not that much of a big deal, you don't need to do this. I don't like these people, but not that much. Like that's what I thought the thing that was going to go down, and yeah, so it was very interesting that it didn't. And, like, speaking of all of the parents and the kids and stuff, and Alex looking after them, he had to feed, like, 19 people soup. Like, I couldn't do that. Like, especially when I was, if I was doing school most of the day, I couldn't then also get home and then feed 19 people individually, spoon feed them soup. Like, these zombies couldn't even chew their food. Like, you'd think that at least the first day that the parents were, like, turned like that, they were still able to talk to him and say, like, how was your day, mate? So you'd think that they'd therefore been able to, like, at least, like, pick up a spoon and feed themselves, even if they couldn't make whatever it is or warm it up. But, like, it was from the very beginning that Alex had to help them and, like, spoon feed them, like, putting it in their mouths. And I don't know, like, I wouldn't be able to spoon feed them, all 19 of them, every single day. Like, I know that, but, like, they'd still survive because people can survive without food, and for, like, a particular amount of time. And I guess I would give them all, like, a cup of water, each day. I guess I could probably do that. Thinking of, he should have given them some water. And I thought it was interesting that it has this, sorry, the whole thing is like an allegory of addiction and alcohol particularly, and I thought it was interesting that Gladys had, like, this mirroring clown look, and she wasn't meant to have a clown-like look. It was meant to be like a slightly off-putting, I forgot if it was 60s or 80s vibe. I think it was 80s, but, you know, old-fashioned makeup. Some of you could probably go, old-fashioned, I feel old. But, you know, it wasn't particularly meant to look that. This is a thing of you can interpret this however you want to. And, like, when clowns were first created, they were first created as like they were meant to look drunk, because it was like drunk people were funny and it's like okay to laugh at them, and drunk people do silly things. So they were meant to look drunk, and like then they were also just meant to have silly crazy hair with the wigs and the red hair. And yeah, and I did really like how they did Gladys, and like let's talk about the ending. Like the fact that they didn't explain how she did it all, like if she had, like it didn't go for her backstory, it didn't show us how the magic worked. Like it showed us like what she did to have the magic happen. Like for the, it showed us a bit of that, but like it didn't show us like a particular like spell or like cauldron ingredients or anything, potion ingredients. It just had her doing it. And yeah. Alright. Oh yeah, and with the unhappy ending, the only like ending I could think of was like that I was kind of happy with, that was like still feasible with what the little girl said, like the narrator, is that she said that like someone else was feeding his parents soup, which I guess is like really sad that the parents didn't go back to normal, and like, but like this little girl is someone who's telling us as like a story to kids on like, you know, like around a fire with like a holding a torch to their face, is I think how, at least how I interpret it. So this kid doesn't actually know everything about this. That's why she said, and they never came back. At the beginning of the story, when she was talking about the kids ran into the darkness and they never came back. This is because she's just saying it like that to be dramatic. And she doesn't actually know the whole story. She wasn't there. She just kind of heard the rumors and heard this story from someone else probably. And that person probably heard it from someone else, and so on, so on. And yeah, that makes sense. In a small town, these things are going to go around, and the story is going to change a bit, and, you know, they're going to change it to be a bit more dramatic. Like, I feel like, at the same time, if this story was told around, that it would change from 2:17 to 3 o'clock or something. But, like, maybe that would happen as, to the next person who'd tell the story or something. They'd make it 3 o'clock in the morning, or, like, at the, strike of midnight to make it more dramatic. So, it said that Alex was in a different home and that he wasn't feeding his parents soup. I think that his parents could have started talking again. And that would be part of my happy ending in my head, and that he would like be visiting them now and then, and like the parents would start like holding the spoons and properly eating the food a little bit or something, and like responding to the names and stuff, and so it'd slowly be a happy ending, and not just a complete sad ending for this poor kid. And then my other part of it was that Justine would be the one to like adopt him, or like become his carer, you know, and that they could be like a little family. Because like it mentions that she was like treating the kids like she was their parent when she's a teacher, and that's why it was inappropriate for the things that she was doing, like driving a kid home. And so I think that would have been like really good, and like a really cute little thing of like something that connects them, and like I think that Justine would have been a good mum, other than having sex with an unlikable man. I mean, he seemed to be her ex, and she was like, which means that she was like dating him at some point, which means that like she liked this man at some point. And so this guy is just manipulative, bad man. It seems like, and I did not like the cop character yet. Something about his moustache, it made him like feel like a pedophile. To put it simply. I mean, I know that pedophiles can probably look like any normal person. But yeah, it really unnerved me. I didn't like him. Alright, so I think I've got into my theory part of this movie, which is that Gladys, like, I was hearing lots of people talk about her, and how she's like a witch, but how like she's not exactly human either. Like, she could just be an older person who got really sick and therefore had to rely on dark magic to get better. But there was the other alternative backstory, which where like she was either the what's it called? Like, this demon thing was like possessing her, or like that this demon thing was pretending to be a human, pretending to be this character of Gladys, and so like she's not exactly human, she's just something pretending to be a human, just this demon like in this human disguise, in this human shell. And I like that one way better. And I think that that's the one that the actress went with. And when I think of a witch that's not exactly human and that dabbles with kids, I think of Baba Yaga. You don't know who Baba Yaga is? I think that she's the witch that the witch in Hansel and Gretel was based on. Like, she would eat kids. Which I guess, this woman is like eating the kids' souls in a way. She's like eating their life force. So, like, I think that she's like this world's interpretation of Baba Yaga, if that makes sense. Like, in the old myths, she had like this house that was like a chicken leg or something. And she definitely looked like your typical old lady witch. Let me see if I can just quickly Google it to just look at these images. Yeah, so her house looked like a normal house, but had like these chicken legs just like sticking out of it, so the house could kind of like get up and walk around. And she would be this old lady, but she was also like really sprightly. And then these kids, she would like lure these kids into the woods. So obviously not all of it is exactly to the fable. She does also kind of line up with a fairy, like the bad sort of fairies that they have in that sort of folklore. And like in one of the stories, it had like fairies taking your children and putting a fairy in to replace it that looks like your child but like acts a little bit different, and just a bit off. Maybe she like back when Gladys was a baby, the real Gladys, she could have been taken by a fairy, and then no one ever realized that this was not Gladys. That's another sort of idea, that she has like mystical powers, but she still looks like that, and is able to do these things. And I think that fairies also have like names as a very when Alex is getting like these special items of the kids, he ends up getting all their name tags. And I know that that's like not consistent with everything, and she didn't ask for something with the names, but I still think that that's pretty interesting. And yeah, her being this like parasite, I think that it's a really cool idea, and I feel kind of proud of myself for thinking this myself, that she is like this world's interpretation of Baba Yaga. And instead of like eating these children's souls, instead of eating these children, she would eat the children's souls, and she wouldn't necessarily have to, like eat them. She would like suck them, and she doesn't necessarily have to live in this chicken leg house and be an exact mirror of Baba Yaga. It's just an interpretation, So yeah, that is my theory. I think that's the end of my review. Thank you guys for watching till the end. Sorry that I have so many ums and uhs. And I'll see you guys next time when I rant about something. Normally it's about one of my special interests, but this is not one of my special interests. But yeah, see you guys next time.